Statistician of the Giants, and here's today's starting lineups. Bill North will lead off and play center field. North hit .273 against Rogers last year. Enos Cabell with the Houston Astros last year hit .286 against Rogers. He will bat second and play first base today. Jack Clark will hit third for the Giants and play right field. Jack was our best hitter. He was 5 for 15 with a double, triple, and a home run last year. Darrell Evans will hit fourth. He'll play third base. The fifth place hitter will be Jerry Martin, who's not normally in left field but is today because of Larry Herndon. Herndon was 1 for 15 against Rogers last year with 4 strikeouts. Joe Morgan will hit sixth and play second base. Morgan hit .500 against Rogers last year. Milt May will catch. May was 1 for 9 against Rogers. Johnny LeMaster will bat eighth, and he will be at shortstop. He was also 1 for 9 against Rogers. And Vida Blue will bat ninth and pitch for San Francisco.
Ralph, we thank you very much. Now the defensive alignment for the Montreal Expos. Raines in left field, Dawson in center, White is in right, Wallach at third base, Spire at short, Scott at second, Cromartie at first, behind the plate, Gary Carter, and on the mound, Steve Rogers.
Yeah, Steve Rogers on the mound. He's a sinker ball pitcher, and he must keep the ball low in order to be effective. Last time out against the Dodgers, he was very effective. He was getting his curveball over. And he has a tendency to throw that curveball and it hangs on you. And when it does, you see a lot of home runs hit. And if he keeps it down in the strike zone, then he's twice as effective, and he'll last for 9 innings instead of the usual 5 or 6. But the thing about him is a sinker ball pitcher, and like all things that sink, they get wet once in a while.
Oh, come on. I didn't know that. All right, 31-year-old Steve Rogers is all warmed up and ready to go for the Expos, who are in a virtual tie for first place in the Eastern Division with the St. Louis Cardinals and the Philadelphia Phillies. And Gary Carter greets Bill North, who will lead off for the Giants, the switch hitter, hitting a .229 coming into this ball game. Last night, just to prove that Tim Raines wasn't the only guy who could steal bases, North got aboard and stole second and third in that order and in a hurry. Here he is, Billy North. Ball one, and we're underway. As Ralph Nelson told us, Billy North hit .273 against Rogers last year, and that's why he's in the lineup. I think that's quite interesting that manager Frank Robinson of the Giants is going to a computer printout this year and is going to stick with it, he tells us. 1-1 to North.
Yeah, he's got to be smarter than the average manager, because I look the thing over and I can't make heads or tails of it. The 8 million numbers, and I'm looking at it right now. That I just
wait a minute.
There's too many numbers.
It says 5 pounds of sugar, 2 dozen eggs.
No, wrong list. Sorry.
No wonder. Now get the right one out. 2-1 to Billy North. Just underway in Montreal. A beautiful afternoon for baseball here at Olympic Stadium. A gorgeous plant. This thing is huge. And of course, it was a site of the 1976 Olympics. Foul in the play. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Giants have won 13 and lost 16. 7 games behind the Dodgers in the Western Division. Nice big look at Big Olympic Stadium in Montreal, and you'll notice the shadow out across the plate already, halfway to the mound. It's tough on the hitters. The best day for a hitter here is an overcast day. This crowd is going to number around 40,000 at least, it would appear. Off speed, fouled it away. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Billy North has done some traveling in his major league career. He'll be 31 years old next week. Signed as a free agent for the Giants in 1979. Started his career with the Cubs and went to Oakland, Los Angeles, and finally San Francisco. Breaking ball inside. Full count to Billy North. You know, Ron, Timmy Raines is going to be leading off from Montreal in the bottom of the first inning. But this man right here, Billy North, can be just as dangerous. You walk him, it's like a double.
Yeah, he's always been tough, but really very temperamental. He might run today, and he might not feel like running today.
I got to feel he feels like running.
Yeah, he does. He doesn't like that rookie. Look at it. Rogers is really disgusted. And everybody's saying, don't walk him, don't walk him. And he says, I know it, I know it. I didn't last time I faced the Dodgers, but this time I'm in trouble.
Enos Cabell is next for the Giants. Hit .286 on the computer printout against Steve Rogers last year, and he is hitting in the number 2 spot of the lineup. Cabell came over from the Houston Astros. Astros MVP in 78. Last year led the Astros in RBIs, or in 79 he did, led them in RBIs, 67. Came to the Giants for Bob Knepper. At first, Billy North. Low and inside.
Billy's just fooling around at first. He hasn't got that real big lead. You'll watch, if Billy gets a big lead there, he'll have that right foot of his completely on the artificial turf. And the last time, he just had a little portion of it. He'll move off and a little bit more, and as Rogers gets set, he'll move off more and more. And when he gets serious, he'll put that right foot of his way on the artificial turf. See, now he's not serious now. He's not going.
Gary Carter with that cannon is behind the plate, but North gave him a bad time last night. Giants winning the ball game 4-3. North scoring. Foul at a play as Cabell tried to hit behind him into right field.
Yeah, hit and run. That was not a steal. That was not a steal. And look at Billy. You can tell he's not really into the game yet. I mean, it's a little early for him. Maybe he was out late last night. Oh, watch this swing. Now you can tell that is a hit and run swing. That's all it is. He's trying to get the bat on the ball and put it behind the runner. He's trying to place it. Sort of a cue, had a cue in his hand and tried to hit the cue ball into right field.
Cabell, good bat, has had some difficulty in the field over the years. North out on the carpet. Draws the attention of Steve Rogers. We're just underway in Montreal. Billy is back. First base umpire Paul Runge in the background has to have a keen eye right now.
They all have keen eyes, not just now.
How about the one in the booth?
The only one that didn't have eyes. Rogers is holding him on a lot better than Gullickson did last night in a close one. Really wants to talk that one over. Gullickson didn't hold him on for Carter last night to defend Gary. And Rogers is doing a good job here. Here's a very good move by him. Billy was not that far off, but he's letting him know. Good move. Might have been illegal, but very good.
A ball and a strike. There he goes. Cabell fouls it away. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Billy's going to stay there. He didn't want to go back.
Billy said, I'm going to steal it anyway. Why don't you let me stay here?
Billy's like a fine-tuned motor. He's getting warmed up now. You know, it's nice, crisp weather, not warm, not cold, but he's getting warmed up. And he's eking out a little further each time onto that carpet.
Speaking of getting warmed up, if Raines gets aboard in the first inning, he'll warm up this whole place. They really go wild when he is on. 1-2 pitch. Off speed. So Cabell is gone via the strikeout, and 1 out. That'll bring up Clark.
I said if Steve Rogers can get that curveball over, it's going to be a tough day. And right here you see, he throws him the hook, breaks down in the strike zone, and Enos swings over the top of it.
So Cabell is through for his first plate appearance, and Big Jack Clark out of New Brighton, Pennsylvania, now makes his home in San Francisco, of course. 25 years old, is up there. A real power plant. Ball 1. Last season, Clark hit 22 homers, knocked in 82 runs, hitting .284, but you got to remember he was out a month. He got a hit on the hand by Mark Bombach, who's in with the Mets. North at first, 1 out. Giants have in the first inning. Upstairs, 2-0. You know, Steve Rogers, veteran as he is so aware of that base runner at first. This is where that base runner can help the hitter, because he is taking part of that concentration away from Steve Rogers. He's occupying a bit of the mind right now.
And if you watch North, he started out with a foot just half and half on the carpet, and now his whole right foot is on the carpet. So he's getting a little more daring, and he's getting a little further off. There it is. He's further off more. He's more and more. There he goes.
And it's popped out of play.
And that was straight steal. And Billy, look at Billy's mad now. He thought he had the thing stolen. He had a good jump. He was out there on the carpet where he wanted to be. If Clark wasn't 9'12", he would have yelled at him.
Billy's getting his running in, that's for sure. You know, you'd consider the importance of Jack Clark to the Giant Ball Club. You know, they were only 6.5 games back when he was injured last year on August 20th. Then he was out a month. And this guy is so important to this club. North going. Carter's throw. Got it. So Gary Carter, who has a cannon behind the plate, as we mentioned, shoots down Billy North.
It's just a super play by Carter. Grabs it, comes up, no time at all, and a beautiful throw. I could even caught that at second base. Billy did not have a chance. Look at that. The ball's waiting there for him. Rodney made sure he touched him. Good all-around effort defensively.
3-1 to Clark, now 3-2. Gary Carter has thrown out about 50% of the base runners this year who have tried to run on that arm of his.
40% is considered good, so he's way above average.
Right up the middle and into center, and a base hit for Jack Clark. Now, if North makes it to second, the Giants have a run. But instead, they have Clark as a base runner at first, and 2 down. You talk about strong.
Yeah, right here.
Watch this.
This is just muscle. He didn't need the bat here. He could have used his arm and hit it. That's power. That is power. Only hitting 194. You know that man is going to hit higher than that and get a lot of home runs and a lot of RBIs.
How about 294? That's something. No, 194 now, but I say you say he's going to hit higher, and he will. About 294. You figure, well, that's a Jack Clark here. Maybe even over 300. Carter blocks that ball. Where is it? There it is. At first base, Jack Clark.
What do they tell young catchers, basically? Stay in front of the ball. If you can't catch it, put your body in front of it. Look at him put his body in front of it. Sacrifice the body. Throw the mask off. Get after the ball. That's why when you shake hands with a catcher, you grab a hold of a piece of meat. 6 broken knuckles. He's got bumps all over his chest from being hit.
I think that ball may have come up and whacked him in a mask.
Can't hurt him. Man of steel.
Darrell Evans, third baseman, 8-game hitting streak. Rodney Scott on the short play, and the Giants are done in the first. So a bit of a threat, but no more. A base hit and a runner left. And the Giants have finished the top of the first in Montreal. They did not score. Timmy Ray.
In the top of the first, Bruce Bereni pitching to Cesar Cedeno with Terry Poole on third base.
At second base, Andre Dawson in center field. Gary Carter hitting fourth will catch. Warren Cromartie at first base. Tim Wallach at third. Jerry White in right field. Chris Spire at shortstop. Steve Rogers will pitch and bat ninth. Now the defensive alignment. It'll be Martin in left, North in center, Clark in right. On the infield, third to first, Evans, LeMaster, Morgan, and Cabell, and May behind the plate. And by the blue on the mound for the Giants. Many years with Oakland. It's been a big winner in both leagues, and Timmy Raines, who leads the National League in hitting at .372 and has stolen 26 bases this year in 24 games. He's been picked off once and caught once, so he's 26 for 28, to be technical about it. Last night, stole 4 bases and turned this crowd upside down.
Yeah, I hate that rule that a pickoff counts as a missed steal. I think they should change that. He should be 26 out of 27 instead of 26 out of 28.
Ball 1, high and away from Vida Blue. With Raines coming up, even in the first inning, he puts pressure on everybody on the infield. They've got to play close at the corners and up at short and second. It's 2-0.
And Vida's up to his old tricks. Vida's a power pitcher, and he tries to throw the ball by you. And he gets in trouble because he gets behind the pitcher. Then he has to take a little, he gets behind the batter, and when he gets behind the batter, he takes a little off. And when he takes a little off, he throws it down the middle, and right there he did it. Except Tim didn't go after it.
2 balls and a strike. Vida Blue from Mansfield, Louisiana, against Timmy Raines, a minor league player of the year last year at Denver. Base hit to third, and Raines is on.
We're off and running.
Now comes the pressure on the pitcher. Will Raines be stealing? Steve Boros of the picture, the first base coach and expert, talked about what to look for on the pitcher for Raines to steal.
Times Dick Williams has given them green light. Right or left-handed pitcher, doesn't matter, and whether they pitch out or not, he's going to be running at all times. Right or left-handed. In the case of Vida Blue, he'll be running whenever he gets an opportunity to key on Vida Blue's turn of his head.
All right, let's look for the turn of the head.
Right. What happens is if Vida holds true, I can remember in the American League, as an umpire, you try to pick up little things on pitchers. And what we picked up on Vida, if he looks at home plate, he's going to throw to first. If he looks at first, he's going to throw home. And right there you saw it. He looked at first and he threw home. If he hasn't changed, watch his head and you'll know what to do. If he looks at you, take off. And if he looks home, stay there.
Milt May calling for the heat. There he goes. Fastball. Safe at second. Milt May, you saw him signal for the fastball. He got the fastball. A good pitch to throw up for a catcher, and Raines still beat it.
No contest. The man is unreal. It's unlimited how many can do it. Watch Vida's head. He looked at first, just like we said, and Scott, good maneuverability to make Milt May a little hesitant on there, and it was no contest. It was a good throw, not as perfect as Gary's, a little up. It was still good enough to get an average runner, but not even close for Tim Raines.
Steve Boros clocks. He's got a stopwatch in his right hand. He will clock the pitcher and the catcher. Now, he's already clocked Vida Blue. He knows how long it takes for Blue's pitch to come to the plate. They've got this whole thing figured out scientifically.
He's put it down in black and white. He says it takes for the pitcher to throw to the catcher about 1.4 seconds or 1.5. And it takes the catcher just about 2 seconds to throw 2 seconds. So that together, it's about 3.5. And Raines does it in 3.2. He said, so you should never be thrown out. And look at Timmy. He believes it. Dumb.
3 balls and a strike. Charlie Metro, the Dodgers scout who is here, says there is no way that a pitcher or catcher is going to be able to hold this guy on. I mean, to keep him from stealing. He's going to, he's just going to drive everybody crazy. Now he can steal third. Also. 3-1. Away from May. Raines goes on to third. Rodney Scott to first. And now the Giants have a double problem.
And look at Scott! Look at Scott! Heads up ball!
There it is, going on to second.
What a heads-up play by Rodney Scott. He saw Milt May worried about Raines and just watching Raines. He goes after the ball, and Rodney never stopped. He touched first and on his way to second. Rennan standing up. Unreal. Good heads-up play.
So that's the kind of thing that the opposition's going to have to contend with. Not just Raines getting aboard, but if both of them get aboard, Raines and Scott, look out.
Now they're pinned in, though. Second and third, they can't go until somebody hits the ball. Maybe. Raines, the only base he hasn't stolen this year is home. They said he stole one on an infield hit. It was a ground ball to third. The third baseman nonchalantly picked it up through to first, and he'd stole it. He'd already been there before the ball got there. This ball's out of play to the right. So he stole first, he stole second, he stole third. Maybe today home.
Andre Dawson, 308 hitter a year ago. He only stole 34 bases last year.
The whole club runs. It's an exciting team to watch. All around. And not just runners. They're hitters, too.
Fastball riding away, the natural riding away from the right-handed batter. There he is, Timmy Raines at third, Rodney Scott at second. Andre Dawson, he got hit in the nose by Rick Sutcliffe last Monday night. Continued to play, and he's still in the lineup. Fouled it out of play. Sutcliffe nailed him on a pitch right in the nose, and after they stopped the bleeding, all Dawson did was stay in the game. Came up with a double, made a great catch in the outfield.
And you told me he stole second, too, right after, hit by a pitch. So he went to first, he stole second. So the whole theory is don't hit him with a pitch. He gets a little mad. Well, that was Frank Robinson, the other manager's forte, too. Don't ever throw a pitch close to him because the next pitch was out of the park.
Good heat by Vida Blue as he blows it by Andre Dawson for the first out. So, walk and a strikeout recorded here in the first inning.
And here's a power pitch of Vida. He just threw it on his wrist, right inside. He couldn't handle it. Just threw the ball. That's a power pitch right there. Threw the ball by him.
27-year-old Gary Carter from Culver City, California. Now makes his home here in Quebec. Had a super year a year ago, played in 154 games. He's very, very durable. Down at third, Timmy Raines. At second, Rodney Scott. Carter a chance to pick up a couple of RBIs. Low and away by Vida Blue. Raines, all eyes are on this man when he's in the ball game. Last night they gave him a standing ovation when he stole second and third. Into the dirt. Nice pickup by May. And you see him take a glance to see where Timmy Raines was. 2 balls, no strikes, no score. Raines is only 21 years old. Gary Carter, a fixture here over the years, and he's had some good ones, but he could conceivably go the free agent route next year. 2-0. All 3.
Canada's got enough money. They're going to hold on to him for a while. I really don't believe he's going to be on the free agent market at all. It's not going to come to that. He's going to sign before then.
Won a Gold Glove last year. Finished second in the MVP balloting to Mike Schmidt of the Phillies. 3-0 is the light on. It is 3-1. Tim Raines led over the single to center, stole second, and went to third on a pass ball on ball 4 to Scott. Scott went to second. 3 balls and a strike. The veteran Vida Blue. After his third one of the year, he has dropped 2. Will a run score? They're going to give up the run, go to first, ranges across the plate, and it's 1-0 Montreal. You know, Darrell Evans, on any other runner, would have had a shot at the plate, but not on Raines. And he wisely took the sure out. Scott moving on to third.
Murrow, you hit it right on the head. He never thought about him. He said, that's Tim Raines running, the fastest man in the world today, as far as I'm concerned, and I am not going to throw home. I'm going to get the safe out. That's why Darrell's a captain out there, and the head of the infield. He runs it with an iron hand, and it's a good, smart play. Get the out when you can.
Warren Cromartie now against Vida Blue as the Expos lead 1-0. That screwball takes off, comes inside of the left-handed batter. Cromartie hitting a .276 for the year. Last season batted .288, 14 homers, 70 runs batted in. 1-1. Every year Warren Cromartie goes to spring training. He has to look for a job. The last 3 years has been just that. Last year it was LaFleur who took his left field job. 1-2. This year they figured that Willie Montañez might play at first, and they might have to put Cromartie back in left field if Raines couldn't make the club.
Yeah, but I tell you, that's all in the papers. That is not what Warren thinks about when he came to camp. He said, I knew I was going to play someplace, and when you talk to Dick Williams, said Cromartie is going to be in the lineup, whether it be first base, left field, left out, or something. He's going to be in there. And the papers kept saying, oh, he's got to fight for a job. This man's a lifetime .280 hitter. He never misses. Set a record 169 games in a row for Montreal. He just does everything right. A good, basic, sound first baseman and left fielder.
2-2 pitch, bouncer to first, and we played unassisted. And so Cabell registers on number 3, and it's a run and a hit, a stolen base, and a pass ball. And at the end of 1 inning, it's Montreal 1 and the Giants nothing.
Richie Zisk with a 2-bagger down the line. 2 Mariners score on the play. 2-0 Seattle. They would get
Giants nothing. And to open the second inning, Jerry Martin will lead off, and he is in the lineup for the Giants today because the computer says he should be in the lineup today.
Yes, according to the computer, in 1980, which is the only time you ever face him, he was up 10 times. He had 2 hits and 2 strikeouts. I think that's what it reads. Yeah, 2 strikeouts. That's Martin against Steve Rogers.
Yeah, but Larry Herndon, who would normally be in the lineup, was only 1 for 15 and 4 strikeouts last year against Rogers. So the computer says that Martin should play, and Martin's in there.
Yeah, and I say the computer ought to go back to where it started from because Larry is hot. And I'll tell you one thing, there's nothing better than a hot ball player. The guy's hitting, what, 370 something? Oh, that's unreal.
Jerry
Way up
Martin,
there.
Joe Morgan, Milt May coming up here in the second. Strike at the knees. Doyle Alexander is warming up in the bullpen for San Francisco, but was just doing a little throwing and now is on his way back. We thought for a moment that possibly something was wrong, but not so. He's just getting his throwing in. Foul in a play, up to the right and back into the stands.
Well, Vida does have a little trouble, you know.
Well, yeah,
I'm going to let you handle this.
Well, it was a question of whether he would pitch last night or today or neither day, but Vida said last night that he could go today, and of course, he's more worried about his hitting than anything else.
Yeah, he's a switch hitter.
1-2 pitch. Spire across to first. Hey, bad throw, but Cromartie handles it. 1 out. Cromartie does very well around that first base
Yes,
bag.
he does. That was nice. Very nice movement by him. Spire just, the ball tailed a little bit on him, ran back on him, and you saw right there, Cromartie came across the bag in front of him. That's hard to do because the runner's coming down on you. Made a nice play. So he fought for another job and won.
37-year-old Joe Morgan is next. Joe's had a pulled muscle in the rib cage area. It's been giving him a little trouble, but he says he's feeling pretty good now. Goes after the first pitch, pops it down the left field line. Long run for the left fielder, Raines. Look out, Timmy, right up into the stands. That's the last thing they want Tim Raines doing, crashing into walls. So it's no balls and a strike to Joe Morgan. Joe joined the Giants as a free agent.
And there he goes, Tim after it. You know, he does not, oh, that's Spire. That's Chris running there. Look at Tim. Oh, I should have known. Tim just ran by Spire like he's standing still. Oh, hey, we need somebody for the Olympics in high jumping, and it looks like right there he could clear 7 foot with ease. And he's only 21. Wait till he gets to be 25.
He will be turning everybody upside down by then. Joe Morgan started with Houston, went to Cincinnati, back to Houston, now with the Giants.
There's Rogers hanging that curveball.
Steve is a very slow worker, which you have already discovered. Very deliberate, thinks through every pitch. 2 balls a strike. Pops another one up, and this one's playable. Spire and Raines is culling him off, and Timmy handles it for the out. So Joe Morgan flies to left field. Raines probably could play out there by himself. Put him in center field, let him cover everything.
Well, him and Dawson, you really don't need a third fielder. And Andre has really helped him. He's took him under his wing, and he's told him all the great things to do and all the things you shouldn't do in the outfield. And a Gold Glove champion like Andre Dawson is, he can really help Tim, and he has. And what Andre says about Tim, the nicest thing, he says he's not only listens, but he'll try what you say. And usually the young kids coming up, and especially the phenoms, they'll listen with one ear and let it go out the other. But Tim tries it.
The veteran Milt May, the catcher, 10 years in the majors. Hit .260 a year ago for the Giants. Coming through the re-entry draft. Outside by Rogers, 2 balls and no strikes. The Expos won, the Giants nothing. The Giants are batting in the second here in Montreal. May's done some traveling in his career. Pittsburgh, Houston, Detroit, White Sox, and Giants.
He's a National League, though. National Leaguer. He likes the National League a lot better than the American League. He's hit better in the National League. It's a fastball league compared to a breaking pitch league in the American League. And he's a fastball hitter, dead pull hitter. And he likes it over here better.
3-0 pitch. 3-1. You know, one of the things the Giants, they got a bonus out of May in that I think that they were somewhat surprised to find that Milt was a better handler of pitchers than they thought. And he has been given a lot of credit for the development of some of these kids. Going for the base hit. Rodney Scott taking it away. 3 up and 3 down. And you talked about defense prior to the ball game, Ron Luciano. And Scott just showed why.
Look at this, the carpet. He's playing so far back, he's behind the line there. and he has to trap it against the floor, and he does. Picks it up, throws him out. We'll be back.
Blue shirt looks more like the ball boy than the owner of the Houston Royals.
Tim Wallace leading off, bangs a base hit to left field. So Wallace, a rookie who was really ticketed for Denver this year, is in the lineup today because Larry Parrish is in quite a slump, and so he was moved to third base. He's going to take advantage of the opportunity, I guess. Hit number 2. Tim Wallach. Jerry White is next. He's in the lineup because Ellis Valentine pulled a hamstring last night. Jerry White considered to be the 4th best outfielder in the major leagues, and that's kind of the tag that he has had here in Montreal. Vida Blue behind 1-0. Runner going. Evans, no chance at second. The play is gone there. Back to first base, and White is out. And Wallach winds up at second base.
That's the way to break up the double play. Hit and run. Wallach was off with a pitch.
Wallach is a pretty good power hitter. They expect him to be something else for the Expos, but Dick Williams told him at the end of spring training, he said, we're probably going to send you to Denver where you can play every day because you need to be playing every day, whether it's here or in Denver.
And Wallach went along with it. He said, okay, fine. I want to go where I'm going to play. If you're going to sit me on the bench, then send me down, which was pretty smart for a young man, only 2 years in pro ball.
Chris Spire, the ex-Giant, several years here with the Expos. Ball 1. Spire has played every inning at short this year. The runner at second, Tim Wallach.
Had trouble with his back last year, Chris did, and I talked to him before the game, and he said, it's a new lease on life. I have no pain at all. He said there was pain when I drank water. There was pain when I tied my shoestring. Everything that I did had a little pain involved. And this year, he said, I'm a new man. I have a smile on my face. My wife is happy, too. I don't scream and yell at her anymore. And the Expos are happy to have him back, too.
Blue is down low with that pitch. 2 balls and a strike. Wallach single to left to lead off the inning. He's now at second base. Expos 1, Giants nothing. The Expos scoring in the first inning when Rain single to center, stole second. Moved to third on a pass ball, scored on a ground out by Carter. Fouled it back. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Cincinnati leading Houston 3-1. The Reds getting all runs in the first inning. They're in the second. The Mets are leading the Dodgers 2-1 in the bottom of the second. Davey Lopes has hit his first home run of the year for Los Angeles as Dick Williams studies that lineup card. And Frank Robinson uses a computer and numbers, and so Dick Williams doesn't use a computer, but believe me, he uses the numbers. High and away. Ball 3, strike 2. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
Channel 23, KNDO, Yakima.
Merle Herman and Ron Luciano with you in Montreal, where the Expos lead the Giants 1-0 in the bottom of the second. Vida Blue working, and Spire could not check in time. Might have been in there anyway. Spire made a break like he thought, well, ball 4, and I'll go on to first.
Yeah, he knew he went. You know he goes on this, and right there, he said, oh, I went too far, but just maybe he won't catch me, did he? Yeah, he caught me, darn it.
So Jerry Dale punches him out, and Vida Blue has racked up 2 strikeouts and will take on his opposing moundsman, Steve Rogers. Chicago plays at Atlanta tonight, San Diego at Philadelphia under the lights, and Pittsburgh at St. Louis to complete the National League slate for today. High heat, but too high from Vida Blue.
He's a great hitter, isn't he? Old 71 this year. I think if I ran across the plate, he'd have a little trouble making connection.
No, he wouldn't.
Hey.
A high popper to right, and back goes Jack Clark. That'll wrap it up in the second inning. So it's one hit and a runner left aboard. We've played 2 innings in Montreal, and the Expos lead by a score of 1-0 over the Giants. And we'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
We'll pick it up with the score 1-0 Montreal after a home run by Tim Wallach. Roland Office leads off the bottom.
To go into the Hall of Fame, manager Frank Robinson of the San Francisco Giants. 21 years in the major leagues. 4th on the all-time home run list. 586 he smacked out of the park. As Johnny LeMaster grounds to third. Wallach, high throw, but Cromartie comes down with it. 1 out. Come on. Warren, that footwork wasn't quite that good. I don't
hey,
he'll never make Broadway.
Let me tell you, Tim Wallach's going to, Larry Parrish's going to be back playing unless Tim makes a little better throw than this. He had plenty of time. He wound up with just too much arm. Look at the ball sail. It just keep going. Hey, what do you mean? That's beautiful. Swan Lake could do as well.
By the Blues. 1 ball to no strikes. Everybody in San Francisco knows the answer to this one. I've already tipped it off, haven't I?
What's that?
Last MVP of the American League to be a switch hitter.
I know. Mickey Mantle. Mickey Mantle.
1 ball and 1 strike.
But why would people in San Francisco know that?
Well, everybody knows it's Vida Blue. We tried to pull that on Vida today, and he almost hit us with a bat. Switch hitter, Vida Blue, MVP with the Oakland A's. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-0, Montreal. The Giants are batting in the top of the 3rd. Vida Blue and Bill Russell attended Mount Clemens High School in Oakland. Ball 2 and strike 2. Who else did?
Okay, I got another one for you.
Frank Robinson. He did.
The last relief pitcher to lead his team in home runs.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Vida Blue.
You're not even going to play with it, huh?
And it's 3-2.
He did it for the Giants.
Freddie Fitzsimmons.
No.
Steve Rogers.
No.
1-0 lead. Top of the 3rd. Vida jumps on that one, sends it a mile high into right center, and Jerry White is back there. 2 down. So White getting a chance to play today, and boy, you talk about speed in the outfield with White in right, Dawson in center, and Raines in left. Vida hit that ball pretty good, though. All right,
Vida does hit well.
Who's the relief pitcher to go?
Well, let's just muse for a while. Think about it. Just think about it for a while.
All right. Billy North is next. He walked and was shot down trying to steal in the 1st inning. I'll think about it until next week. 1-0 Expos. Giants at bat in the 3rd. First ball hitting Billy North, fouls it away for strike 1.
Billy got cute in the 1st inning and tried to pull a Tim Raines and steal 2nd. Rogers did a great job of holding him on, and then Carter gunned him out.
Billy had an idea to bunt. 1 ball and 1 strike.
You know who the reliever was? It was a trick question. Remember Dave Kingman used to relieve at one time? Okay, that's a little bit of trivia. All right, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done it. I shouldn't have done it. I'm sorry.
1-2 to Billy North. What do you think about that one, fans? Shall we put him in the back room for a while?
I'm not the best trivia man in the world.
Steve Rogers with a 1-0 lead, working in the 3rd. Rogers going for his 4th win of the year.
Rogers at 31, he's slowed down. He never was fast, but he is really slowed down.
Bouncer to short, and Spire had to wait for the 2nd hop, and he still made the play. Spire started to play the 1st hop, and then saw that he couldn't make the play and had to wait for the 2nd one. 3 up, 3 down, bottom of the 3rd. Expos 1, Giants nothing.
3-2 in the 8th. Brian Downing at the plate. And look at this. Downing takes care of everything.
Great glove, and they need that glove in the outfield to glue that infield in.
Here is the man. Tim Raines leading off. in the third. In the first inning, he singled to center, stole second, moved to third on a pass ball, and scored on a ground out by Gary Carter. And that's the run in the game. 1-0. Vida Blue missing low and away, 1 ball and 1 strike. You know, when the Expos made very little effort to sign Ron LaFleur after LaFleur played a year here a year ago. How about that for a double-double? 1 ball, 2 strikes. Anyway, LaFleur elected to go free agent, and the Expos said fine because they have Timmy Raines, and Timmy, with his tremendous speed, learned to switch hit. He can do everything. He can play in the infield. He can play in the outfield. So they said, okay, we'll go with Timmy Raines. He dumps one to right, but Clark is over there for out number 1. That's the best way to get rid of any worry from Raines. Just don't let him get aboard. But Dick Williams had a great comment, I thought, about Tim Raines. He said he's better than LaFleur. He feels better, throws better, hits better, runs the bases better, and gets to the ballpark on time.
LaFleur was notorious for coming late. He was never on time. Home team bats first, and he was never there for home team batting.
Dick Williams loves this guy, Rodney Scott.
I'll tell you who loves him is Tim Raines. You know, you talk about when Lou Brock stole all those bases. There's a ground ball to Morgan. Boy, he's got good hands still. Good reflexes. You talk about when Brock stole all those bases, the man who followed him, all you heard about was how he loved to follow Brock because he got nothing but fastballs and it was easier to hit. And you don't hear Tim Raines, and you didn't hear LaFleur last year, or you don't hear Rodney Scott this year saying how he gets fastballs. What you hear is Scott does everything in his power to disrupt the catcher so that the base can be stolen. And that's why Scott's hitting, he hit 224 last year. He gave up a lot of strikes and a lot of ABs so that LaFleur could steal last year, and he's doing the same thing this year with Tim. That's good team effort. And again, the man responsible is Williams.
Andre Dawson, 1-0. Deep in the hole, no play on that one. Even had LeMaster fielded the ball, I don't think he would have had a chance to get Dawson, who has tremendous speed.
Dawson is quick, but Darrell Evans just out of his reach. And LeMaster, it did drop out of his glove. You're right, Merle. No chance at first, even if he did hold on to it. Remember, Dawson stole 34 last year, and this team likes to run. He's on his own. There are 3 men that are on their own in the club. And right there it is again. If you watch Vida's head, you'll know. Vida looked at home and therefore threw to first. Now watch his head. He hasn't changed.
2 down. Runner at first. There,
he did it. He picked us both off.
And Joe Morgan on the rundown, and that'll be the end of the line for Andre Dawson.
Dirty old man, Vida, you picked us both off. You're not supposed to do that. You got smart after all these years. He fooled the both of us. And we'll be right back with a score 1-0.
Of 5-4. Early going here. Look at this. Tommy John appears to have Dwayne Murphy picked off third, but they tag him out
on Giants' part, and good heads-up play by Vida. I didn't think he was that smart to pick it up. Maybe he's listening to our broadcast.
Wait till one of his friends tells you that, though.
Oh.
Enos Cabell struck out of the first inning, struck 1. Now, I know you and Vida you guys got along pretty well when you were umpiring, didn't you?
Yeah, very well. Vida's never argued with umpires. He said, I've got enough trouble trying to get the ball over the plate. I don't need an aggravation of arguing with umpires.
Steve Rogers, a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Rogers has retired 7 in a row. The last man to reach was Jack Clark, who singled in the first inning.
And according to the computer printout, Clark should be the only man that should be best man for the job, hitting .500 against him.
High and inside. Rogers, you're seeing typical Steve Rogers. Anytime he misses the plate or doesn't hit the strike, he walks back, shakes heads. My goodness, my goodness. He's a worrywart.
I think it's a little psychological, too. I think he gets that batter a little anxious so that he'll swing at a bad pitch.
Fly ball foul to the right side. Back into the stands. Cincinnati is leading Houston 5-1 in the third inning. And the Mets have a 4-1 lead over the Dodgers in the bottom of the third. Dave Goltz came on in relief in the second for Los Angeles. You know, there's some Houston Astros fans who feel that the Astros sending Cabell away and Joe Morgan and the Giants landed both of them, and this is what has taken a little bit of the life out of the Astros this year. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Although the Astros have recovered pretty well. They've won 7 of the last 10.
Yeah, that could be. He was well thought of on the infield there, and of course, no one can hit in the wide open spaces of Houston. You can't come out with a good batting average or be a power hitter in that ballpark. It's just too big. Enos is glad to get out of there. Look at him, 6'5". Says he weighs 180 pounds. I don't believe it.
Up the middle and into center, and Cabell is on.
6'5". The club looks up to him, right? I'm not going to pull that over.
That is hit number 2 off Rogers.
And the pitch is up where it shouldn't be, around the waist. And Enos just gets the fat of the bat on it, punches it right through the middle, right up the middle.
Next Saturday on NBC's Major League Baseball game of the week, it's the top-notch pitching staff of the Astros against the Reds, led by the National League batting leader, Dave Collins, who's having another outstanding season for Cincinnati. Here's Jack Clark now. Fouls it away for strike 1. And some of you will be seeing George Brett, who flirted with a .400 batting average last year, didn't quite make it. He'll lead the defending American League champion Kansas City Royals to Fenway Park against the Red Sox. Check your local listings for the game in your area. That's next Saturday, 2 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time, right here on NBC Sports. Cabell, the base runner, and low and away, 1 ball and 1 strike.
And Vida Blue has the same affliction that George had last year in the World Series. And that's why he's missed the last turn and is having a rough time and standing up at the dugout rather than sitting down.
Cabell, who singled, is the runner. Nobody out. High and away. I really get a kick out of Steve Rogers. It's like the world is coming to an end.
Oh, no, I did it. I threw a ball. I can't throw that again.
Waiting to bat next, Darrell Evans. The left of your screen, number 41. Fouled it away, 2-2.
You're talking about Jack Clark. Jack has really matured. He had a little girl in 1979, and everybody around him said that after that, the man has changed completely. He has less strikeouts. He has more walks. He's a nicer person to talk to. He's not as wild. The birth of that child has matured that man so much, and he's a better baseball player because of it.
Fouls another one off back into the stands. It'll still be a 2-2 to Clark. Nice crowd today in Montreal. Better than 40,000 here at Olympic Stadium. Nice, pleasant afternoon. Lots of folks in shirt sleeves. Clark had 18 game-winning RBIs last year for the Giants. It gives you an idea of his importance to this ball club. Runner going. Nice pickup at third by Wallach. So Clark is out at first. Cabell, now the tying run has moved up to second.
And Robinson trying to get something going with a hit and run. Steve does that. Steve puts you into a lethargic type of game. He just goes along, and he's mad at himself because he threw a ball, and it seems to put the batters to sleep and the rest of the club. So Robinson's, I guess it read out in the computer that he should try at least 2 RBI or 2 hit and runs a game. We've seen one. We're going to see one more.
Darrell Evans with an 8-game hitting streak, grounded out in the first inning, has a chance to tie the game. Fouls it away on the third base side, strike 1. Darrell Evans, 33 years old. He'll be 34 on May 26th. 20 homers last year with the Giants. He spent 5.5 years with Atlanta, the last 4.5 with San Francisco. Rather durable. He's missed, what, 13, 14 games the last 3 years.
Good, solid ball player, the captain of the club. But, you know, he's really like a jack of all trades and a master of none. Like you said, 20 home runs last year, and he'll give you 75 to 80 RBIs. He'll steal about 10 bases for you. He'll commit about 25 errors. So he's not really the best glove man in the world, not the best power hitter in the world, not the best infield in the world, but he does everything well enough so that you have to have 2 or 3 or 4 ball players like him on the club in order to win pennants.
A ball and a strike. 1-0 Expos. Giants batting in the 4th. High heat. Ball 2, strike 1.
And then you need the superstar as well, like a Jack Clark who can come through and get you 110, 120 RBIs, or Tim Raines who can steal 110, 120 bases.
You know what? I think Raines is going to steal better than 150 this year.
Ooh.
I really do.
Ooh.
2 balls, a strike to Evans. Low it inside.
Okay.
One of the things the Giants have to do, and Frank Robinson will get this done eventually. Frank obviously wants to take a look at all of his personnel in different situations. But Evans, for instance, when the season started, when they came out of spring training, they thought he'd probably be at first base or left field, but Mike Ivey kind of changed all that around. They had to move Mike, and they did move him to Houston. Evans pops it high to short left. Spire is back. Raines takes over. 2 down. So Frank Robinson decided after moving Ivey on to Houston, he figured that Mike just doesn't fit with this ball club, and Mike has had that problem since he's been in baseball. But Robbie decided then that Cabell would be the first baseman, that Evans would be the third baseman, and they'd go on from there.
And Cabell hasn't really worked out at first as well as he thought he would, because he's had 5 errors so far. And, that's a lot of errors just to start off with. It's tough to play one side of the infield and go to the other, especially on AstroTurf. And there's so many AstroTurfs in the National League.
Breaking ball, a strike to Jerry Martin, who will be 32 years old on Monday. Happy birthday to Jerry in advance.
Jerry's not happy, though. He hadn't been happy. Jerry thinks that he should play every day. And he says, listen, trade me. When he came from Chicago, he left Chicago because he wasn't playing every day. And now he's at San Francisco, and he's not playing every day, and he's already saying, trade me. I want to play every day. I don't care if you put me in Denver. I don't care if you put me in Ashtabula, Tennessee, but I want to play baseball every single day as we're looking at Cabell at second.
It's 1-0 Expos. We're in the 4th. Martin hit 23 homers with Chicago a year ago. I think his biggest dissatisfaction was Chicago, though. He just didn't think the Cubs were going anywhere.
Well, you can't go anywhere unless you go somewhere, too. You've got to be, if you're going to be that well and lead a club and think you should play every day, you better do the job and help that club go someplace.
Cabell at second. He opened the inning with a single to center and then moved up on a ground out by Clark. Evans is flied to left, and Steve Rogers trying to get out of the inning with Jerry Martin at the plate. Jerry took the Giants to arbitration, and they were almost walking right into the room at the arbitrator's office, walking down the hallway. Would you believe they settled the issue right there?
Yeah.
Both Martin and the Giants were happy that they didn't go through the door. 1-2. And it's 2-2.
He's a free swinger. He loves to swing at that ball. Loves to strike out, too. Get you 100 strikeouts a year.
Come on.
No,
he loves to strike out.
Yeah, I'll tell you, he strikes out a lot.
Boy, he doesn't love to strike out.
If he keeps doing it, you must like to.
I don't believe it. 2 balls and 2 strikes, 2 down, 1 on. Rogers with a 1-0 lead has given up 2 hits. Well, let's see. They're going to go inside. Got a runner at second, whatever the switch is. They go away. Breaking ball, and Spire is there to field it. And the Giants' threat is over. So a base hit and a runner left on. And that is it for 3.5 innings. It's the Expos 1 and the Giants nothing. Coming up, Carter, Cromartie, and Wallach for the Montreal Expos.
That's 5-0. No score, bottom of the second. Joe LaFay will steal second, and Alex Trevino throws.
The Expos 1 and the Giants nothing as the Expos come to bat at the bottom of the 4th inning here at Olympic Stadium in Montreal. Nice crowd today. It's a beautiful place. Olympic Stadium. Beautiful smile. Nice young people in the ballpark. And Vida Blue works to Gary Carter, who drove in the only run of the game when he grounded out back in the first inning. The Expos catcher. Strike one to the inside corner. Blue gave up a leadoff single to Raines in the first. He stole second, moved to third on a pass ball as Scott walked, and scored when Carter grounded out, and that's been it. Vida's pitch well. Off speed. He missed low and outside. A ball and a strike.
Good pitch for Vida right there. And he does that to Carter because Carter's having a little trouble with the bat he has lately. I talked to him before, and he says, I'm getting anxious. And what I'm doing, he said, when you get anxious, you swing at bad pitches like he did right there. Pitch was outside. I don't think he's got a chance he does it. The ball comes away. He says, I swing at bad pitches, and then I lunge a little bit. And he said, watch me today and send me the tapes, because he's going to check the tapes afterwards to see if he lunged. He didn't lunge at that pitch, but he did swing it. It was a little away. He should have stayed off on it.
When you were umpiring, did the guys ever step away from the plate and ask you something about a swing?
Lots of times.
Did they?
Lots of times. And always the 300 hitters. Never the 210 hitters.
High and away, 2-2.
Yastrzemski used to do it all the time. He'd stand back and he'd say, am I swinging at the high pitch? Oh, who is that?
Do you believe that? Lindsey Nelson, the voice of the San Francisco Giants, in one of his quieter blazers. Right back to the mound, the old comebacker. The bat went one way, the ball went the other, and Carter wound up with the handle. So Vida Blue literally sawed the bat off in his hand.
Right here, you better catch this or you might get hurt. He lunged at a low pitch again. Vida's a pretty good body control to get after that ball. I'm still bad at Vida for picking me off at first. Changing his delivery all those years I've known him, and picked Dawson and myself out.
Warren Cromartie grounded out of the first. We're talking about Cromartie having to look for a job every year. Last year, Rusty Staub, who came back to Montreal, was supposed to win the job and didn't. Of course, Staub had always been a tremendous fan attraction here in the early years of the Expos when they were a losing ball club, but the Expos have a new reason to be drawing fans now. They win. Knocked out of the pennant race, the divisional race, the last weekend of the last two seasons. 1-1 to Cromartie. Strike two. Little boy something, isn't he?
Oh, Warren's little boy? Oh. And I tell you, he's a heck of an athlete. I was playing catch with him before the game. He's burning them in there. What is he?
2-2.
Is he 5 or 6?
6 years old, I think.
6. My hands still sting.
That meat hook. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Nice stop at third by Darrell Evans. Takes his time to gun him down. 2 gone. The ball coming off the artificial turf. But Evans has played on artificial turf in Candlestick, although it's gone now, so no problem. This telecast presented by authority of Major League Baseball and is intended solely for the private non-commercial use of our audience, and any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Major League Baseball is prohibited. Tim Wallach, who singled in the second, playing third base today. Last year at Denver, hit 36 homers and knocked in 124 runs. More power coming to the Expos. 0-2 the count. Last year he joined Montreal for 5 games. He went 1 for 2, and one of the hits, well, the hit was a home run. End of the third. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
May's having a tough time catching Vida every time he's a little bit off. But Vida's got that good fastball, and if he throws it high, it'll rise. If he throws it down in the strike zone, it has a tendency to not sink, but drop a little. And it'll slide on you, not actually move down and away, but if it's right down the middle, it'll go a little to the left, a little to the right. That one was the same thing. Down the middle, a little bit to the right, got in on the hands, nice easy pop fly to north and center field. Vida's just breezing by.
So 3 up and 3 down. And coming up in the 5th, it'll be Morgan to lead off, and we'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
For the left side, here we go against Fernando Arroyo. And we're going to get a hanging curveball from the right-hander, so the
Olympic medalists and world record holders compete in the AIAW National Women's Collegiate Swimming Championships. That's all tomorrow, 4 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time on NBC Sports World. Joe Morgan leading off, takes a strike from Steve Rogers, who has a 1-0 lead over his mound rival Vida Blue in a pitcher's duel here in Montreal. Morgan flied to left in the second. Low and inside. Prior to the game, Joe Morgan and Timmy Raines were having a little discussion about, no doubt, Timmy's future in baseball, and Joe giving him a few tips.
Yeah, he also said about spike it when you come down a second if you come in too high.
One of the tips he told Tim, don't take too big of a lead off first. I mean, you always stay closer to the bag.
Boy, Joe, he looks good, doesn't he? Looks in good shape.
Pops it up, first base side. Cromartie makes the call. And Joe is out of there. One away. Milt May to be next. Steve Rogers.
If you watch Rogers now, he'll fall to his left. One of the faults that Rogers has had all through his career is that he can't get a ball. Remember the ball of Vida went down to his knees off to the right to get? Now see, Rogers could never catch that ball. And I never understood why they haven't bunted more on Rogers, especially towards the third base. You got Wallach in there, who's a young kid. And in a game like this where he could get things going. Now, Milt May can't do it because he runs about as fast as I do, like a locomotive down to first. He couldn't make it. But, North, he tried one bunt against it. But Rogers always has, and they've worked with him. Galen Cisco, the the pitching coach, has worked with him. He said, you can't fall off to the mound. You're going to get in trouble. You're going to get in trouble. And I guess the computer, Robinson's computer, hasn't come up with that yet to let the guys bunt against Rogers so that they'll get men on base and he falls off to the left too much.
The ball and a strike. Now, of course, the artificial surface has got to play a role also.
Only man I've ever seen that could bunt the ball on artificial surface and make it do what he wants, even stop, is Rod Carew. He actually bunts the ball on artificial surface and makes it stop. Here's Mr. Computer. I don't know if I like using a computer to manage a club. It's got to be an aid. It's a help. And I know it's not the overall thing to do. But I got to believe that you got to think in your heart, gee, this is the guy that's going to do it today. I don't care what the computer says.
Bouncer to first. Cromartie takes the play, and they're 2 down. But Frank Robinson said before the game, though, Ronnie, in fact, I specifically asked him, do you always follow the computer? I mean, what about the gut instinct about a certain guy? He said, oh, no. He says, exactly what you said. The computer is an aid, and if it's overwhelming in favor of using a guy or putting a guy down for a couple of days, but he said, no. He said, you've got to have the feel from time to time that somebody, maybe a Johnny LeMaster here, for instance, is going to, for one reason or another, get off to a great start today and have a good day.
That's what he said, but that's not what he did.
No, but he had a reason. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking about putting Herndon down today.
Exactly.
All right,
yes.
I'll give you the explanation for that in a minute.
Okay.
Meanwhile, LeMaster 0-1, and it's 0-2. First of all, if you joined us late, Frank Robinson has a complete computer printout on every player, on every hitter, with the kind of pitch he hit, where he hit it, the situation at the time, and so forth. And then the thing we're talking about, if you joined us late, Herndon, who is the hottest hitter on the Giant club, is not playing today, but Herndon is 1 for 15 against Rogers and 4 strikeouts a year ago. But there's another reason that he's not in there today. Drive down the left field line. It is a fair ball, and LeMaster goes into second. Now, maybe the computer said LeMaster is going to double. That's being a little facetious, but no, the point being about Herndon and why he is not in there today, as we look one more time, but...
Whoa, good play. Almost got hit. The umpire almost got hit there at third. Bob Engel got out of the way very nicely as the ball went fair. But you were saying, Merle.
Yeah, about Herndon. He said there was another reason for Herndon he said, just in case Larry is thinking, I have trouble hitting this guy, he said, I want to keep his batting average up because Herndon is off to the best start in his career. And he said, I want to give him a day off from time to time, and this is the time to do it, when we're out against a pitcher that he does not hit well. But he said he'll be back in the lineup, and he said once over a period of time Herndon plays more games against all pitching, he says, and his confidence stays up, then he's going to play against everybody. That's the theory.
Well, I can see the theory, but I don't go along with the reasoning. I don't think it's sound. I really think since he is hitting 354, and for 5 years they said that Larry has nothing but potential. The guy is going to be fantastic. He's going to be great. Nothing is going to hold this guy down. And for 5 years he did nothing. Now this is his year. Now he's going to show all the potential. He's going to do everything. He's going to hit 300. He's going to hit the 20-some-odd home runs. He's going to steal bases. He's going to play a good left field for you. And now you got it sitting down because the computer says he can only hit 1 out of 15. I don't know. Yeah, I could see your reasoning. He's saving him.
Not my reasoning.
Well, no, not yours.
But Frank had an explanation for it. 2 balls, 1 strike. Vida Blue with a chance to tie up the ball game for himself. He's behind 1-0. LeMaster at second. And it's ball 3. And Steve Rogers, the last thing in the world he wants to do is lose the pitcher. Although Vida's a pretty good hitter.
Steve will talk himself out of it. He's shaking his head. Vida is a good hitter.
But Frank, again, going back to what he said earlier, the one thing that I thought about in the interim from managing Cleveland to the Giants, be more patient, particularly with the young players. 3 balls a strike.
And the umpires.
3-2.
When I was umpiring and he was managing, he had a standard rule that if his ball players talked to me on the field, it was a fine. And they had ball players that would run by me and say, I can't talk to them, Ronnie. The fine's on.
What'd you say? I didn't hear that.
I can't talk to you. The fine's on. And also, he would not talk to me. And really, that was a whoop inside ball 4. And really, that was very nice because a quiet manager, a silent manager is an umpire. Rogers.
Just watching his facial expression, probably anybody but Steve Rogers, as we study him, you'd think that this guy is going to knock himself right out of the game because he's all upset. He's like this all the time. This is his natural personality in a ball game.
That's why we said it earlier. He might be doing it to psych out the players. But it might work in reverse and psych out his team, too, because he is so slow.
Billy North walked in the first, grounded out in the third. 2 men aboard, 2 down. Strike 1 to the knees. At first base, Blue. At second base, LeMaster. The Giants trail by 1, batting in the top of the 5th. Breaking ball inside again. He's having trouble with the breaking stuff. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Expos scored in the first inning. Tim Raines, the super stealer. Mr. Excitement. Single, stole second, and scored on a ground out. Base runners, LeMaster and Blue for the Giants. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes to Billy North. Two down. Steve Rogers trying to close it out. And North will let him cool his heels a little bit.
And that's the little psychology by North in there. He said, Rogers, you made me wait all this time. I'm going to make you wait a little bit. North has been around long enough. He's not going to let him upset him. Let's see if he's got him in the hole, 2 strikes, what he does.
Missed inside again with the breaking stuff. So the deuces run wild here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 on, 2 down. Billy North with a walk, attempting to steal, thrown out by Gary Carter back in the first inning, then grounded out in the third.
Now, Rogers does not want to throw a ball here because he doesn't want to get 3 and 2 and have the runners running with 3 and 2 and 2 outs. So he's got to get him on this pitch.
Ball 3, full count. And Ron Luciano in Montreal, where the Montreal Expos are leading the Giants 1-0, getting the run in the first inning for Steve Rogers, who is in a bit of trouble here right now in the Giant half of the 5th. with John LeMaster, who doubled with 2 down on at second. Vida Blue, the pitcher who walked, is on at first. Billy North has a 3-ball, 2-strike count, and let's see what he can do. Runners going, base hit down the line will tie the game. LeMaster will score. Timmy Raines running the ball down. Vida Blue being waved home, and he is going to make it, and it's 2-1 San Francisco. So Vida Blue scores from first base on a double into the left field corner by Billy North, and Steve Rogers has lost the 1-0 lead. It's now 2-1 San Francisco.
And here it is, and it was the pitch before that cost him the 2 runs, because he shouldn't have gone 3-2. It was right down the line, and you can see it. It went by the third baseman there, Tim Wallach, and it ended up a double. But the pitch before that was the important pitch. He should have never gone to 3-2.
So the Giants grab the lead after being shut out over the first 4 innings. Timmy Raines, the super speedster for Montreal, got the run for the Expos in the first inning with a single, stole second, moved to third on a pass ball, and scored on a Gary Carter groundout. That's been the Expos offense today. Right now, Enos Cabell, the first baseman of the Giants, with a strikeout and a single to center. So San Francisco is on top, 2-1. Knocked off the glove by Scott, and here is Billy North trying to score. He is going to be out at the plate. Great recovery off the glove of Rodney Scott at second, and Gary Carter had the plate blocked off, and Enos Cabell will get a base hit out of it, but no RBI because North is shot down.
And here it is. Rodney Scott makes a nice play on this. Gets back, good throw to Carter. Carter holds onto the ball, and North tried to upset him. Look at North. He knew what to do all the way. Had a chance at it, and it had to be a good throw, and it was a nice bounce off the carpet. And Carter stayed in there and got him out.
So a pair of runs on 3 base hits. The Giants take the lead. And at the end of 4.5 innings in San Francisco, it's the Giants 2 and the Expos 1.
The story of it. On the mound, bottom of the second inning, 1-0 Angels. Doug Rao making his first American League.
In the impossible dream year of 1967. Then on to Oakland for championships and World Series victories. And Anaheim for the Angels, and now here in Montreal. And he'll have Jerry White leading off at the bottom of the 5th inning for the Expos. White, the right fielder, grounded out in the second. He'll be followed by Chris Spire, and the number 3 hitter and 9 hitter in the order will be Steve Rogers. Vida Blue with a 2-1 lead has given up 3 hits. Ball 1.
Speed still there. He's throwing with ease. He's got that good rising fastball, as you saw right there. And that's good heat down the middle.
1 ball and 1 strike. Vida Blue going for his 3rd one of the year. He has dropped a pair. Well hit toward the left field corner. White will go for extra bases as Martin plays the ball toward second. And White has a double. That is the first extra base hit for Montreal. And the 4th hit of the game. So that gets the crowd going.
There's the ball off the wall. It takes a little bit of a tricky hit, hot, and he caught it on the air with a great play by the left fielder, Jerry, out there. And Terry White steals, motors into second. I didn't know White was that fast.
Oh, he's a good
motored
baseman
around that ball.
You know, he was a regular center fielder here a few years ago, but then he started playing the yo-yo game, up and down, back to the minors and back, Chicago and back. Chris Spire struck out of the second. Ball 1 from Vida Blue. 2 runs, 5 hits for the Giants. 1 run, 4 hits for the Expos. Jerry White at second. Tying run. Vida checks the scoreboard in center field. May works the signs. Remembering, with the runner at second, they do a switch. Strike. 1-1.
I can't get over that pitch last inning when he went to 3-2, when Rogers went to 3-2 on North. He should have never done it because it allowed the runners to be running on 3-2 and 2 outs. That's why they're down 2-1.
1-1 pitch. Spire fouls it off to the first base side.
Ryder's got some good pitches. That last White impressed me because that was a nice, good fastball that he hit off the wall in left field. And Mark made a nice play catching it off the wall.
John Gonzalez, our director, and producer George Finkel showing it all to you right here. Ida Blue against Chris Spire. Just a bluff move, nobody covering back there. With Jerry Manuel, the backup shortstop of the Expos, on the disabled list, Spire's not going to get much rest because Rodney Scott would be the logical backup for him, and there's no way that Dick Williams wants to take him away from second base. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Dick Williams says as long as Spire is healthy, I don't care if he bats 200 or 100. He says his glove is what I need in there for good defense. So anything he hits is a bonus for him.
And he anchors, too. He's the anchor of that infield.
Yes, he is, boy. You watch him out there, and he'll scream and yell at Rodney. I mean, move over. You know you can't play it there. Move back.
Fans call for action in Montreal. The Expos are down by a score of 2-1. Nice stop by Blue. No play at second. He thought he had one. Jerry White got back in a hurry. Spire is gone. Johnny LeMaster cut behind the runner, and Blue thought he might have a shot.
But Blue does a nice job. The other play went down his knees to make it. Nice grab. Safety. Checks him. Shall I throw? No. Good, wise decision. Good, smart, wise decision by Blue. Would have been a close play at second. Maybe, maybe not. But an easy out at first. Got the man back, looked him back, threw over to first. 1 out.
Here's the man they call Cy. He's been on this Expos roster now longer than any other player. Steve Rogers. To the right side, that'll move the runner over. Joe Morgan makes the play, and Rogers is gone, but he got White to third. Now, Mr. Excitement coming up. And Ron Luciano with you from Montreal. Mr. Excitement is coming to the plate. Rookie Tim Raines, who leads the National League in hitting at .372, coming into the ball game. He had stolen 26 bases in 24 games coming into this one. 26 out of 28 attempts, and what did he do in the first inning? He singled, stole second, moved to third on a pass ball, scored on a ground out. That's the only run right now for the Expos, but he's got a chance to give them the lead, or at least tie it up. Jerry White is a runner at third base. 0-1. The last thing that a pitcher wants to do is walk Tim Raines. They have put clocks on him. His first base coach, Steve Boros, clocks the pitcher's delivery time to the plate. If Raines gets a board, it's like an extra base hit. Low ball 2. It's 2-1 San Francisco as the Giants grab the lead in the top of the 5th on a 2-run double by Billy North. And a pitcher's duel between Vida Blue of the Giants and Steve Rogers of the Montreal Expos. 2 balls, no strikes. Strike 1.
Oh, I'll tell you, we'll watch White at third. Everybody's booing. Tim's so exciting to this whole match, this whole game. He does things that the crowd was really quiet till he came up. Now they're bumping, and every heartbeat is on that pitch right there. And it's 2-2. And Blue is back out. Ooh, he was in the hole 2-0, and now it's 2-2.
Timmy Raines last night stole 4 bases against the Giants. They were down by a score of 4-1. He stole second, he stole third. They gave him a standing ovation. Before the night was over, he had 4 steals and 4 attempts. And if he keeps going the way he is going now, he'll break every record in the book. Lou Brock, all of them. Wills, everything. Outside, ball 3, strike 2. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning in Montreal, with the Giants leading 2-1. Look at the concentration on Blue. He doesn't want to lose this guy. But he did. Look at that. Vida Blue dropped him out here.
He wanted that pitch. He wanted it. He thought it was on the corner. Jerry Dale, the umpire, said, no, it's outside. Boy, Blue is really hot. Here it is. Is it outside or isn't it? Too close. Too close. Oh, Jerry Dale, you call it a ball. You saw Vida jump. Out comes Robinson. He's going to call Vida down and also go over what they're going to do in case Raines goes to second. Do you just let him go into second? Do you cut him off? He's asking Milt May right now. Do you think it was a strike? Milt says, I don't know. It was close.
Steve Boros has a clock in his right hand. See it? I hope you can see it. Maybe you can't right now, but he carries a little stopwatch in the right hand. It's probably tucked behind the belt right now, and he clocks every pitch that the pitcher throws for speed. Now, they've got this thing figured out scientifically on how long it takes the pitcher to make his move to the plate, how long it takes the catcher to throw to second. And Timmy Raines can go from first to second in 3.2. And Charlie Metro, the Dodgers scout who is here, says there is nobody. If Raines gets a proper break, there's no pitcher or catcher is going to throw this. They're not going to keep this guy from stealing second. They just can't do it.
He said the fastest combination Charlie ever clocked was Munson and Fritz Peterson, and they were clocked at 3.3. So therefore, Raines could even beat them.
All right, the decision has been made about the runner at first. Vida Blue with a 2-1 lead. Has two down, will face Scott. Rodney, a switch hitter, has walked and grounded out. Ball one.
Now they know right now whether or not they're going to throw through, whether or not they're going to take a chance on throwing through it and try to get Tim at second, or whether or not it's just a half throw and Vito cut it off, try to catch White going back to third, or whether there's no throw at all.
Runner going.
There it goes. It's a throw to third.
And it almost went into left field. And that's what Tim Raines does to the opposition. The Giants put a play on, and May almost threw the ball away, and that would have scored 2 runs.
You hit it right on the head, Merle. Exactly. They just, watch, everybody shook up on this. He knows he's going to third. He comes up over the right-handed batter, and White was out back with ease. There he is. He's back there with plenty of time to spare. And it was a nice play by Darrell Evans to stop that ball. And Tim could have scored from first as fast as he is.
So it's a ball and a strike. Giants lead 2-1. Scott, 1-1 pitch. Strike 2. Raines with 2 stolen bases today. Has 28 for the season. 28 in 25 games, this being the 25th game. He's only 21 years old. A little bit low and away. Ball 2 and strike 2, and I think Vida wanted that one also.
Vida's pressing. He wants everything right now.
Rodney Scott hitting but 179 coming into the ball game, but he is a fixture here. He's part of the go-go front into that lineup. Joe Morgan, the old pro, and the inning is over. So Vida Blue gets out of it, giving up a double and a walk and a stolen base, but no more. At the end of 5, it's the San Francisco Giants 2, the Montreal Expos 1.
Stadium, Atlanta. Tony Scott on third, Keith Hernandez on first, George Hendrick, the silent one, at the plate. And
75. So it's Clark, Evans, and Martin. The middle of the order coming up against Steve Rogers of the Expos. Shot to left, Tim Raines. He can outrun the ball, but this was easy for him anyway. 1 out. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network. Merle Harmon and Ron Luciano with you from Montreal. Darrell Evans coming up with 1 out of the 6th. 8-game hitting streak, but he's 0 for 2 today. Evans was part of that Atlanta trio of Dave Johnson and Hank Aaron that hit 40 or more homers in one season, a major league record. Fouled it away, strike 1. 1973 is when the Atlanta trio hit all those homers. Ball, and it's 1-1. We talked about a big crowd here today. It's the biggest of the season, to be exact. 48,149. Good breaking ball.
And they came to see Tim Raines run, and boy, they've seen it twice so far. No contest both times.
1 ball and 2 strikes.
Darrell Evans made a nice play last inning, stopping that ball of Milt Mays. He threw down trying to get White.
Foul, let a play. Talking about the Expos speed, they now have 51 stolen bases and have been caught but 8 times.
Wow. Those are impressive figures.
1 and 2 to Darrell Evans. Foul ball. The Expos are in a virtual tie for first place in the Eastern Division, with St. Louis, Montreal, and Philadelphia in a logjam. Steve Rogers going for his 4th win of the year. He's looking for a 20-victory season. Right now he's behind 2-1. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Pittsburgh is 4 games back. The Mets and the Cubs follow them. Cubs are 4-19. Can you believe that?
Yes.
3 balls, 2 strikes. In the top of the 6th, Cincinnati 7, Houston 2. Fly ball to center. Dawson is there. 2 down. Evans is now 0 for 3 in his bid to keep his hitting streak alive.
Evans wants this pitch. He knows what it is. It's going to be a sinker. He goes after it. And son of a gun, look at the expression on his face when it ran straight up. Ooh, how did I miss that? Ooh, if it wasn't wet, I would have hit it.
So there are 2 down. Jerry Martin twice has grounded to short, fouls it away. Steve Rogers has given up 2 runs, 5 hits. He had a shutout for the first 4 innings. Martin has twice grounded to the shortstop, came into the game hitting at 229. So his replacement, or his replacing Larry Herndon so far has paid no dividends for the Giants.
No, and he did make that nice play in left field, so maybe, well, it's been status quo then. He made the nice play in left field, and Larry probably would have made a nice play. And Larry wasn't supposed to hit because he can't hit Rogers, that we're looking at right there. And he hasn't hit. So the computer's right. They should have played me in there.
No, wrong. 2 down, nobody on, 6th inning, Giants 2, Expos 1.
Well, Clark, I'm checking the computer again, tapes. Nice curveball. Got on top of it. Nice, easy inning for Rogers.
1, 2, 3. We've played 5 1/2. The Expos trail by a run. It'll be Dawson, Carter, and Cromartie. The power coming up in the 6th for Montreal.
Against one Eichelberger, Manny Kingston trio hits one through the hole on the left side, and the Phils who are leading.
Thousands are watching the Expos against the Giants on this fine afternoon for baseball. The Giants lead at 2-1. The Expos jumped in front of the 1st inning on the speed of Timmy Raines. But then the Giants came back in the 5th to get 2 and take the lead. And Andre Dawson, who has struck out and grounded out, will lead off for the Expos at the bottom of the 6th. Then Gary Carter, followed by Warren Cromartie. Boston Red Sox are jumping all over Toronto today as Vida Blue gets ready for the bottom of the 6th inning.
You gotta love Dawson. We're looking at Vida Blue right now, but you gotta love Dawson. He does everything right. He's a 300 hitter. He's a good Gold Glove man, and in center field, when he plays center field, Ted Williams said that the shallower the center fielder plays, the better he is. And this year, he won a Gold Glove last year, and this year he's moved in even more. Dawson is even shallower this year, and what he's doing is taking Tim Raines under his belt. He's out there before every ball game and after every ball game, takes him out for pizza, they said afterwards. They talk together, and he's showing them the little things that make a good fielder, a great fielder. And he says that Tim Raines is the best student he's ever had. He's listening to him. And it's a nice, nice thing when one teammate can go over to another and say, hey, I want to help you so much because I like you and you're a nice guy, and share with him some of the greatness that he's been doing. And again, that's Dick Williams' influence, because Dick is the type of manager. I'm saying nice things about you, Dawson, where you hit the ball, but Dick Williams is the manager that can tell the rest of his ball team and get them together, get them to work as a unit. I know the old adage they used to say about Boston, 25 people go on the field and 25 people walk off the field and grab 25 different cabs. They don't do it on this Cub. Dawson hits it to right field, but it's an easy out for Jack Clark, right to him. So Dawson, I said nice things about you, and you did it. You made an out, but that's all right. You're 1 for 3 today. That brings up Gary Carter.
Tell you one thing, he has the right name for playing in Montreal, doesn't he? Andre?
Yeah.
Boy, they fell in love with him immediately. Gary Carter ground out in the first inning, but got an RBI, his 14th of the year. Then he bounced to the pitcher in the 4th inning. Gary's been struggling with the bat, though, as Ron alluded to earlier.
Yeah, let's see if he lunges at it now.
Yeah.
He's swinging at bad pitches and lunging. Now let's see if he lunges. Now watch his front shoulder get out there before the rest of his body. He stayed back well on that. And the ball was bad. He didn't swing. The two things you do when you try to get anxious, you swing at bad pitches and you lunge. Your body gets out before your arms.
You know, Gary was originally a right fielder for the Expos, but he kept, well, he was gung-ho, which he still is. He kept crashing into the wall over at little old Jerry Park, and they finally decided maybe he better be a catcher where it's a little safer for him. He just got whacked. It's not so safe being a batter.
Shows me a little class there. Didn't hurt, didn't hurt, didn't hurt. Like heck it didn't hurt. You know anything the Vita Blues throws up there, it's going to hurt. Gets him right on the shin, right on the left shin, and it's
Blue got 2 for the price of 1. There
yeah, but he doesn't want to hurt Milt. Milt's having a tough enough time with Reigns. Carter's at first. We got something going again. And here comes the Expo fans. You can hear them in the background.
Cromartie 0 for 2 is grounded out twice. Drive to left center. Billy North, good jump goal. Good play by Billy North in center field. So Cromartie gave it a jolt. But North ran it down, and Carter is back to first.
Billy North knows what to do in center field. Cromartie goes down after the pitch, a good fastball. He thinks he's really hit hard. Old Pro makes it look easy. And does the smart thing as soon as he catches it, doesn't wallow in his own self-righteousness. He gets that ball back into the infield very quickly, knowing that any one of those guys can run, even Carter.
Tim Wallach, the third baseman, is the batter. Wallach is a real power plant. We talked about all of his home runs in the minor leagues. 18 is, this is only his 3rd year in pro ball. 18 his 1st year in Memphis, starting in Double-A. Last year, smashed 36 at Denver and drove it 124 runs.
I don't know about Denver, though. Is that like Atlanta? Do the balls pop out of there? Is it easier to hit them? They say that high altitude. I'm just bringing it up. I don't know. I spent a little time there, but...
it flies. It really does. There's no doubt about it.
36 home runs. That's a lot of home runs to hit, even in a park where the ball flies out.
2 balls, no strikes to Tim Wallach. Vita Blue on the mound. Fouled on a play down the right field line. Jack Clark giving chase no chance. We were talking about the Red Sox a moment ago. You talk about a bounce back. We saw them last week, and they looked pitiful. They went into a 7-game losing streak. They're now on a hot streak. They are murdering Toronto today, 9-3 in the 9th inning. And Elia Sosa goes to work in the bullpen for Montreal. 9-2, 9-3 rather, Boston. Upstairs, 3 balls and a strike. The American League East. How about those Cleveland Indians? They're hanging in there. The Yankees and Baltimore and Milwaukee has lost 3 in a row now, while Baltimore's won 3 in a row. But Dave Garcia's done a great job in Cleveland. And a walk goes to Wallach. That'll send Carter the tying run on to second. Wallach, the lead run, moves down to first, and Vita Blues got a bit of a problem with Jerry White coming to the plate.
Now, they wanted Valentine in the ball game, but of course he got hurt again. Blue Cross has offered to buy his contract up after he's been hurt so much the last 2 years. And they originally put in Roland Office. And now, on a hunt, on a whim, he took Roland Office out and put White in. Now, let's see if Dick Williams did it right. See where the hunch pays off instead of the computer. He had Roland Office written in on the lineup card.
Yeah, but Office is a left-handed batter. And I think part of that switch had to be because they weren't certain the Blue was going to pitch or not.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't talk to Williams about that. I just thought
Fly ball to left center, but not deep. In fact, it's short left center. Spire, check that. Lemaster is back, and that'll do it. So Blue gets out of the inning, leaving 2 men aboard. And we'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
This game, 2 out. He retired the first 2 guys, and here's Mike Schmidt. Doesn't look like he gets all of it, but...
Area. That's next Saturday, 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, right here on NBC Sports. And isn't that something that Boston has done such a turnaround? My goodness. A week ago they couldn't win. This week they can't lose. Steve Boros out of the University of Michigan, as is our producer, George Finkel. Hail to the victors. They were classmates back. Steve went into baseball. George went into television.
I don't know about George, but I know Burroughs was a straight-A student.
Now the Giants come to bat in the top of the 7th. Joe Morgan will lead off against Steve Rogers, who is trailing 2-1. Joe 0 for 2 today, to be followed by Milt May and John Lemaster. Johnny Bench has hit a 2-run homer for Cincinnati, and the Reds lead Houston 9-2 after 6. Steve Rogers. Morgan, first ball hitting, fouls it away. You know, we talked to Frank Robinson about Joe Morgan yesterday. He said, you know, I think there's going to come a time when Joe's going to have to make some adjustments, you know, because maybe the reflexes aren't as quick as they are. Joe said before the game today, no, he said, I'm as quick as I ever was. He said, but he said, I got off to a good start. He got 10 RBIs in a hurry, popped a couple of home runs, and he pulled a muscle in the ribcage area. And he said, but it's coming back now. But he says, as long as I feel the quickness, as long as I feel the snap, he said, I can play a lot of ball games.
Defensively, there's no difference in Morgan. Maybe he can't cover quite the amount of ground he did, but his reflexes are there for going down after the ball. But you can tell with 192 average, even though he has a sore rib, he hasn't hit the ball like the Joe Morgan of old, like MVP 2 years in a row. He has not connected. And Rogers is mad at himself again.
He was 10 years younger when he did that.
Well, that's true.
He was the MVP 2 years in a row, too, at Cincinnati. He won everything. He drove in over 100 runs and hit 27 homers or so.
That famous flicking of the left arm.
You know why he does that?
Yes, but tell me.
Early in his career, he said he would keep his elbow in. And when he flicks that, he said that was a reminder to keep his elbow out away from his body. And he just has done it instinctively over the years. There it is. See it? Base hit to right center for Joe Morgan. You know, I used to think that his shoulder was out of whack or something.
There's the classic swing of an MVP 2 years in a row. Now that's a good, quick, level swing. The one-arm extension follow-through like Lau has been teaching the past few years, and everybody's going to it. Charlie Lau, now batting coach with Yankees. Get your strong arm over the top and release the weak arm.
Just for the record, Joe was MVP in 75 and 76 at Cincinnati. And the only other man to win it twice in a row was Ernie Banks back in the 50s. And that brings us up to Milt May. Runner going. Shot to shortstop, and no play at second. In fact, the second baseman Scott wasn't covering. The ball was hit so hard on this artificial turf, and Rodney was just kind of looking as Spire went over there. And with the runner, Joe Morgan, moving, no chance for a play at second.
Hit and run all the way. Milt gets on it. The pitch is up in the strike zone. The ball takes a vicious hop up into Chris's chest. Chris makes a nice move. Didn't even check for Rodney because he didn't expect him to be there. On the hit and run, he knew there was no chance at second. Blue in the infield. We said it before. Spire makes a nice recovery on a bad, bad hop.
So it snowballs in a strike now to John Lemaster. Giants 2, Expos 1, top of the 7th inning.
Johnny Lemasters.
Vida Blue to bat next. There he is in the on-deck circle.
Johnny batted. They had him batting first last week, trying to something new. Now he's back to batting 8th and got a good shot at 9th.
A ball to strike, 1 out. LeMaster doubled and scored the first run, the tying run for the Giants in the 5th inning. By the way, the Johnny Bench home run was the 358th of his career. It came today, and he tied Yogi Berra on the all-time home run list at 358. Pitch down low by Steve Rogers. Morgan at second with a single, moving up on the ground ball on the hit and run. John LeMaster, one of the reasons that Spire moved to Montreal, a good glove man, and the Giants wanted to use him. Foul at a play. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Another man that worked on the weights over the winter, the Masters.
Yeah, he put on about 10, 12 pounds.
Yeah, but look at him. How can you tell? Look at the size of him. He looks like a match.
He's also toyed with switch hitting, I believe, in spring training this year.
Well, a 221 lifetime average. So, be worth a shot.
Sure, why not? Foul out of play to the first base side. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Giants 2, Expos 1. Giants at bat at the top of the 7th in Montreal. Merle Herman and Ron Luciano with you.
You know, if he keeps going after pitches like that, he might better switch. Try it left-handed. Of course, Rogers putting him to sleep. There he is. Take 2 more breaths. There's the Masters. Look at that. Look at those legs. Whew.
And a fly ball to right. Out of play. Back into the stands. Foul. Joe Morgan, who had a tremendous September for Houston, helping Houston down that stretch and really created excitement, is the runner at second. And Stan Bonson is the pitcher on the right who is warming up. Oh, wait a minute. We're in the wrong bullpen. The Giants. That's Lavelle on the left. Now, who's that on the right?
I can't see that far.
Branding is warming up. He's the right-hander. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Just missed. Bonson is warming up in the bullpen for Montreal right now.
What's Bonson, 33 now? He's up there in age. Him and Fryman, if they warm up today, they're going to pitch tomorrow. It takes them that long to get loose.
Woody Fryman, he's something else, isn't he? Gary Carter with all the switches with the runner at second on the signs. Just missed. LeMaster is on with a free ride. So Steve Rogers gives up a walk and has 2 men aboard. Out at second is Joe Morgan. He started the inning with a single, and LeMaster with a free ride is on at first. 2 men aboard, 1 out, and Vida Blue coming up.
Another MVP. Switch hitting MVP.
Vida walked in the 5th inning and scored the lead run, and I know that Steve Rogers is still kicking himself over that. Not only the walk, but walking the pitcher, and then the runner becoming the lead run in the game. Infield looking for the bunt, even with 1 out. Fouled it off, strike 1.
There it is. They had a play on. They had Carter going after the ball all the way, and they let Tim Wallach stay at third. So Rogers, who we said earlier, remember, he falls off to the left. He cannot feel that ball towards third cleanly. And that's going to be a tough, tough play now for Rogers. If Vida can get that ball towards third base, it's going to force Tim off that bag. Spires is going to come in and talk to Rogers right now and tell him, you've got to fall off. All right, I know it. But remember, he's telling you one thing, but you've got to do it now.
You think they switched the play? Maybe the shortstop going to third?
I don't think so, not yet, no.
No balls, a strike. And they show that play, though. They showed Spire going to third as Rogers spun off of the mound. They brought Wallach in from third and were sending Spire to third. Now here, maybe somebody got confused.
That's what it was. Somebody didn't do something right. So Rodney's coming in to start all over square one. They're going to have a play on. They know it. And now it's on. The last time they left Tim Wallach at third, and they let Rogers cover the whole thing. Let's see if they do it the same way.
Giants lead 2-1. They're at bat in the top of the 7th. Wallach over at third base will play it close. Let's see if he stays. They all stay. And it's strike 2. 0-2 to Vida Blue.
And Robinson put the hit on Vida. Swing away, Vida. Robinson, I'll confuse the whole works. I don't care what kind of play you put on. I'm going to have the guy hit away. Only it didn't work.
No balls, 2 strikes. Wallach has to make the play, and the runners move up, and he didn't get Blue either. Wallach got a late start on the play from third. Apparently, he had a quick second guess. Am I supposed to make the move or not? Is the play on or not? Let's see.
Again, you watch Rogers fall off to the wrong side. If he doesn't fall off, he can get over there in time. Tim comes over, picks it up, throws it over, and Rodney just says, caught the ball, but not in time. Runge said he beat the play. Let's see. Oh, I'm glad Paul called it. Tie goes to the runner, and therefore the man's safe at first.
The bases are loaded for Billy North. It'll be a base hit for Vida Blue. Billy had a 2-run double in the 5th inning. He is 1 for 2 today with a walk. 1 out. Infield up. Ball 1. Fastball. The bases are loaded with Giants. Morgan at third, LeMaster at second, Blue at first, the infield tight for the possible play at the plate, and the outfield is rather shallow and around to the left. Moved it over for a strike. 1-1 to Billy North.
Billy wants the ball checked. He says if it was a strike, it moved awfully funny. See if it has any blood on it. No, it's all right. Jerry Dale says it's all right. Carter and him are talking it over whether or not that last pitch did do anything.
Giants lead it 2-1 with Morgan at third, John LeMaster at second base, Vida Blue with an infield hit at first. 1 out. 1-1 to Billy North. Strike 2 with the breaking stuff. The Giants lead it 2-1. Steve Rogers trying to hold on here in the top of the 7th. North with 6 RBIs for the season now. Missed outside. Ball 2 and strike 2.
Shouldn't have wanted that pitch anyway. The curveball was high. He's lucky it wasn't over the plate more. Really, North could have put it out of here and grand slammed it.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Popped it high, third base side for the dugout. No chance for Wallach. So the count stays 2-2. The Expos grabbed the lead in the first inning on a single by Raines, a steal of second by Raines, a pass ball, and a ground out by Gary Carter. Steve Rogers made that 1-0 lead stand up until the 5th, when with 2 down LeMaster double, Blue walked, and North doubled them both home. And that's where we are right now, 2-1, but North has got a chance to really put a dent into the Expos. Bases loaded, 1 out. Ball 3. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
And Rogers is really digging himself a hole. He walked LeMasters to bring up the pitcher. And then he fell off to the left side and didn't get over fast enough to pick up that ball, so we got an infield hit by Vida Blue. And now 3-2 on North. And Dick Williams is fuming. Whew.
Payoff pitch will come with 1 out. Well hit to right field. That ball is going. Gone! A grand slam for Billy North. Billy North just planted one in the seats, and he has 6 runs batted in for the day, all of them for the Giants.
Not a bad day's work.
Billy North, a grand slam homer, his first home run of the year. He had doubled in 2 runs in the 5th, and the Giants lead 6-1.
He got him where he wanted to, 3-2, and he knew he had to come in with a fastball, and he did, right down the middle, and North timed it perfectly. Pulled it right to the right side. Good wood on it. Look at the smile on Billy North's face. Happy, happy man.
So Billy North has had himself a day, and here's Enos Cabell, 2 for 3. Fly ball to right. Along the line comes White and takes it for the out there, 2 down.
There's that happy bench. Of course, the Expo natives are getting restless. They're giving a few boos now and then.
The Giants have 13 home runs as a team for the year, showing a lack of power in this early part of the season at least. Stan Bonson is warmed up and ready if Dick Williams wants it. And he no doubt will want him because Rogers is coming to bat in the bottom of the 7th as the second man to come up. Clark bangs one to left. It's deep. That ball carrying well off the wall. It'll be fielded out there by Andre Dawson, and Clark goes into second with a double. So Jack Clark with a single and a double, 2 out of 4, keeps the hit parade going, the 9th hit of the game for the Giants. And the fans are calling for Dick Williams, but the fans may not be looking at the same scorecard that Dick is.
And here it is. And we told you Clark has power, and he just powers that pitch right off the wall. Tim played this nice. He went towards the wall, and he knew it was going to be off the wall, and Dawson backed him up. Look at Williams. Ooh, boy. If looks could talk, I think he's going to have a few words for Rogers when he comes in.
Darrell Evans is the 8th man to bat this inning, has grounded out and flied out twice. It is 6-1 San Francisco. Strike 1 at the belt. 2 runs in the 5th, knocked in by Billy North. 4 runs here in the 7th, knocked in by Billy North. And at second base, Jack Clark with 2 away. One and one to Evans. Darrell needs the base hit to keep his streak alive. He's hit safely in 8 consecutive ball games. We have something thrown on the field out of the left field bleachers, and it's retrieved by Tim Raines. It's probably the only time you'll see him jog in the ballpark. The rest of the time, it's sprinting. One ball and a strike. To the outside corner, and Evans took it. 1-2.
And again, you knew he was going to be in trouble because he's getting that curveball way up. And when he's not getting the curveball up, then you can guess what's coming next, and that's the fastball.
Short right field, Scott makes the play, and the inning is over. So it's 4 runs with 4 base hits, and the Giants take a 6-1 lead. But coming up for the Expos, it'll be Spire, then Rogers due to bat, and the speedy Tim Raines. And now here's another installment of the 7th inning stretch.
Spice presents the 7th inning stretch, brought to you by Old Spice Stick Deodorant, the deodorant that works overtime.
Bill Terry was never a flashy player. He performed instead with a gutsy workaday brilliance. As first baseman of the New York Giants, Bill had an astounding season in 1930, wrapping a league record 254 base hits, batting .401 and being acclaimed MVP. Bill was always strong-willed, and he often battled publicly with manager John McGraw. But when McGraw retired, Bill became player-manager, and he drove the Giants to pennants in 1933 and 36. A knee injury forced Bill out of the lineup when he was 35, but he still managed the Giants into another World Series. Whether he played or whether he managed, Bill Terry offered no false hustle.
To left field, Otis is up now, and Tommy John, the pitcher. Here comes the double. It's going to go right back in the corner. Lou Piniella.
The bat, he's on deck. He'll replace Rogers. But Lou has been masterful, and it's proved that, at least today, a power pitcher is better than a sinker ball pitcher. Lou's come back, and just reared back every time he needed it, throwing the ball by him, or got him to pop it up. He was only in trouble really one inning.
And the bullpen is busy for Montreal. Ratzer is getting ready. He got cuffed around a bit in his last outing. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 6-1 San Francisco. Bottom of the 7th in Montreal. Foul out of play. Two balls, 2 strikes to Spire. The Expos haven't scored since the first when they took a 1-0 lead. The Giants moved in front of the 5th on Billy North's 2-run double, and then came North's grand slam in the top of this inning. Deep in the hole, the play! Not in time. LeMaster couldn't quite get it there in time. Johnny LeMaster gave it his best shot, but Spire beat it out.
LeMaster's really showed you something on this play. You see Evans go after the ball right there, and it's by him. LeMaster's backhands it to the pirouette in the air. A good, strong throw from that deep in the hole. And of course, he didn't have a chance on it, but you got to... Maybe that workout during the winter helped him with the weights. Of course, he didn't show it with that body yet, but that was a nice try by Johnny LeMasters. Of course, pitch hitting now, we're going to have Larry Parrish.
Who's really been battling a slump.
Yeah, he's in the doghouse right now.
With the fans.
And the manager.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't hear that.
Yes, he did. Not very happy with his overall performance.
Foul down the right field line. That'll be into the stands. The ball and a strike.
He was a little perturbed. Not only the bat, he said the fielding was not going around like it should. And he wasn't doing the aggressiveness on the bases like he likes all his ball players to do.
Parrish is coming off an injury of a year ago, which held him down to 126 ball games. He had a knee injury. He really hasn't been swinging well. Hasn't been driving the ball at all. 1 ball and 2 strikes. One ball and 2 strikes.
Six to 1, and they're trying to get something going. They got Chris Spire in first. Biden takes a look at him.
And Parrish, you can see how tied up he is with his swing. That is not the Parrish swing at all. He's really fighting it.
No, he's fighting himself. He's fighting everything. Pretty good pitch by Vida. Gets it down in the strike zone. But he tries to go down after it. And not a good pitcher's cut like Parrish usually takes. And again, a bad pitch to swing at. He's trying too hard, and you swing at bad pitches when you do it. So Enos Capel there, standing next to Spire. And here he is, Mr. Excitement. He's back up again.
This is the only time Vida Blue has been comfortable all day. There's already a runner on first. Raines rips it, however, and it is caught by Billy North in center field. There are 2 down. And the runner at first, Chris Spire. 3 times today, Raines had come up with first base open. Once as the leadoff man, 2 other times with first base open. Twice he got aboard. Once he stole, once he scored. Right now, Rodney Scott with a walk and 2 ground balls to the second baseman. Strike 1. Of course, remembering that Vida Blue was an MVP with the Oakland A's, we'll be announcing our MVP of this ball game. Before we crank it up today, Billy North, he's got to be a factor. That's his first career grand slam, the one he hit in the 7th inning. The 3rd home run he's ever hit batting left-handed. An all-time RBI mark, high mark for him in 1 ball game. 6 RBIs. So Billy North has had himself a day, almost a career. Foul ball off the bat of Rodney Scott.
And he started off slowly, getting thrown out at second base.
Yep, he walked in the first, was thrown out trying to steal. Right. His 6 RBIs today give him 10 for the year. He had 4 coming into the game. So Billy North has to be a candidate. Vida Blue has to be a candidate.
How about that nice catch in center field by Billy North, too?
Yeah. Billy North Day in Montreal.
Oh, Vida, come on. Good recovery.
Into the dirt. A nice pickup by Cabell.
We're telling you how bad Cabell is at first. We're telling you how bad he is. He can't pick up the ball as well, doesn't short hop it. Vida makes a tough play out of this. He sort of nonchalants it. It goes into his glove, bounces off. Finally picks it up, throws it into the dirt. Cabell gets it, and it's 6-1.
Second base. Pete Rose is up. He did it to him last night, and he does it again now. He singles to center field.
As the Giants come to bat at the top of the 8th inning, 26-year-old Steve Ratzer out of Patterson, New Jersey, is going to pitch for the Montreal Expos. With Denver last year, he won 15, lost 4. Came up with the Expos, had 1 start, no record. But this year, he is 1-0, but his ERA is 8.25 in 6 ball games. He's pitched 12 innings.
He's a mop-up man for him, but what he does very well, he's got good control. Puts the ball over the plate.
Jerry Martin, the first batter to face him, whacks one into left center field, and he is aboard.
And he got the ball over the plate.
Indeed he did.
Except Martin. Gave it right back to him.
Joe Morgan started to rally in the 7th, and that's what he did so often last year for the Houston Astros. He had 5 home runs, 17 RBIs in September last season in the pennant drive for Houston. And that's no pitch. Time was called. So, and Joe also, if you may recall, had that pep talk for the Houston Astros the first part of September. And they really started to turn things, well, not turn it around. They were in the pennant race. But they stayed in the pennant race. And, of course, who can forget that dramatic playoff with Philadelphia after they'd beaten the Dodgers in the 1-game playoff after they tied for the divisional crown.
But Bill Verdon and the rest of the Astros didn't think, here's a throw with a first, he's back, didn't think that Joe could do it anymore. He could in the field, and that's what they said. They said, but his bat will not come through over 162 games for us, and we need somebody who can hit the ball, especially in the wide open spaces of Houston.
Good B2. And Spire completes the double play. Stepped on the bag, fired to first, no problem. Easy DP. 2 down.
Classic double play right there. Spire takes it himself. Gets out of the way. Good body control. Out by 2 steps. He's going to run a training film. We'll show that one. There he is, Chris. Mr. Glue on the infield. Doesn't get paid to hit. That's what I'll tell you. He'd like to. He gets paid for the glove.
Now Milt May is up for the Giants. Strike 1 from Ratzer.
Going to give Vida a breather. Going to take a couple pitches here. It's been a fast inning.
Milt is 0 for 3 today. You've been talking to this guy. That's 2-0. No, but I know where you're coming from.
No, he's going to... Milt's been around for a year. He knows his pitchers. He's going to give him a little stay. Okay, now 1-1. Now he's going to swing at it.
That was part of the plan too. Foul one off.
Right.
Okay.
Foul one off. Just to keep in there. But I told you about Ratzer. He gets the ball around the plate. They may get a lot of hits out and a lot of runs, but he's not going to walk too many. Good control pitcher.
When David Palmer comes off the disabled list in a couple of weeks, he's probably going to be sent to Denver where he can pitch in rotation. 2-2. He gave up 7 runs in an inning and 2/3 Wednesday night against San Diego, and that's one way to learn the route to Denver.
It's a very fast plane trip.
3-2 now.
I told you what good control. Threw one inside, almost hit me, and one in the dirt. Come on, Ratzer.
The Giants lead 6-1 in the top of the 8th inning. Billy North has knocked in all the Giant runs today with a 2-run double in the 5th and a grand slam homer in the 7th, the first of his career. Foul ball.
Boy, Milt likes to pull that ball. Every time that ball comes close to the plate, he's trying to pull it.
His father was a Major League ball player, an infielder with the Philadelphia Phillies in years gone by. Mickey May, third baseman. He's on with a free ride. So Ratzer has given up a single and a walk, but a double play sandwiched in between. John LeMaster will check in. LeMaster has been a factor in both rallies. He doubled with 2 down in the 5th to start the rally that saw the Giants take the lead. Then he walked and scored in the 7th. Foul on a play. In the 7th, with the bases loaded and 1 out, Morgan, LeMaster, and Blue were aboard. Billy North up. Dick Williams was trying to get through the inning because he wanted to pinch hit for Rogers. Strike, 0-2. But North hit him for a grand slam, hit Rogers. And sure enough, Dick was able to pinch hit for Steve, but the score was 6-1 at the time. LeMaster pops it to short left, and Raines is there. And this inning is over for the Giants anyway. So a base hit and a walk and nothing else. After 7.5, the Giants lead the Expos 6-1.
Well here, John Wathan had 3 hits on the night, and he takes the left-hander down the left field line. Lou Piniella.
Quick oval at UCLA for the International Invitational, live on NBC Sports World. With some great stars in that one. Dawson leading off in the bottom of the 8th for Montreal, strike 1. Dawson, infield hit in the 3rd, 1 for 3 against Vida Blue as a 6-1 lead. Talking about big names in that UCLA Invitational. How about names like sprinter Stanley Floyd and James Sanford, and America's Steve Scott will face Ireland's Eamon Coughlin in the mile, and hurdle superstar Ronaldo Nehemiah putting his reputation on the line against the top field. All tomorrow on Sports World. Foul ball. But that's not all either. Funny cars blast down the strip in the NHRA, the World Drag Race Finals, and the Olympic medalists and world record holders compete in the AIW National Women's Collegiate Swimming Championships all tomorrow on NBC Sports World at 4 o'clock Eastern. Where's the ball? There's the ball.
That little thing gets tricky at times. You can't find it. He wants him to check and see if he swung. He did not swing.
Frank, you got a 6-1 lead.
Yeah, he's not going to say a word now. Look at the smile on his face. If it was the other way around, if he was down 6, he would have said something.
And you said that computer didn't work.
I tell you, Rogers pitched a foolish game. Made a lot of silly mistakes for a pitcher of his caliber.
You know, if that computer does work, we'll have 2 computers at home plate playing each other.
Just press the buttons.
Well, hit to left field by Dawson. It is gone, a home run.
He pressed that button, didn't he? Boom, did he hit it.
His 6th home run of the year, and that brings the 48,000 alive here in Montreal.
Just a good fastball and a good hard swing. He got the bat of the bat on it, and I'll tell you, that ball leaped off from that bat. You knew it was gone as soon as you heard the crack. You said, bye-bye, baby.
And Ellis Valentine is over there telling him, man, if I was in the lineup today, I'd hit one right behind you. It is 6-2 San Francisco as Carter swings away and pops it to right field, and Jack Clark is there for out number 1. Dawson's home run, his 6th of the year, was the 22nd stroke for the Expos. Andre 2 out of 4 today. So Vida Blue giving up the home run. Still has a 6-2 lead as he faces Warren Cromartie, who is 0 for 3. Think Reggie Jackson is the only ball player has a candy bar named after him?
He is, isn't he?
No, well, maybe in the States, but here in Canada, they've got a candy bar named after Cromartie.
What do they call it?
I'm glad you asked. 1-0, right up the middle, but there is Johnny LeMaster behind the bag to make the play.
Wait a minute. Forget about the play. What do they call the candy bar?
The name of the candy bar named after Warren Cromartie is called a crowbar. What else? A crowbar.
Here it is. Crowbar. Got the fat of the bat on it, but right out of the end, just hit it off, and Vida got his glove on it again. He's been playing super defense. The Masters came over. Easy little flip to first. Cromartie's out. That's for cancer research, though, that candy bar, isn't it?
That's a fair ball.
It's a fair ball.
Out at first.
He's
and
out.
that'll do it. Yep, the crowbar contributes money to cancer research in Canada, and Warren's very happy about that. A run on the homer, that's all, though. 6-2 Giants. Giants coming to bat of the ninth.
Hitter. Final score 5-0. We go to the top of the first. This is the leadoff batter, Terry Harper.
At Boston, so check your listings for the game to be seen in your area as the top of the ninth inning comes on. And here is the man, Vida Blue. Blue with a walk and an infield hit, 2 runs scored, and a 6-hitter and a 6-2 lead. But the big bat has been swung by Billy North today. High and tight from Ratzer.
Blue has been a genius today. Really, really top-notch pitcher, and he's helped out the cause.
3-1. You know what a difference a year makes. Last year, the Expos just killed left-handed pitching, but this year, just the opposite. They haven't beaten a left-hander yet.
Yeah, but it's early. It's early. One game doesn't make a season.
3 balls, 2 strikes. It does if you lose the pennant by a game.
Yeah. Who is that man? Who is that man?
Still 3-2.
Who was that masked marvel we just saw? There he is again. The masked marvel. Boy, he had some kind of a day so far. But it's not over yet. We're talking like it's over. It's 6-2.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody on or out. We're in the ninth. Vida gets on that one, but he got under it. Too much, and White is back. Jerry handles it. 1 out. Well, Billy North hit the first grand slam homer of his career in the 7th inning. And here it is.
And what a beauty, too. A fastball, and he just ripped it. And out it went. 1, 2, 3, 4 people crossed the plate. Great moment. First grand slam ever for Billy North. Look at it. What a feeling that must be.
Jimmy Davenport gave him the big handshake coming around third. Said, "No, just how it feels, Bill." I used to hit him myself like that. Here's Billy again. 6 RBIs on a double and a homer. His highest RBI output in 1 game in his career. First grand slam of his career. Bounces it to Rodney Scott in the short play. Takes care of Billy. 2 down. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
Channel 23, KNDO, Yakima.
Merle Harmon and Ron Luciano with you from Montreal, where this afternoon Billy North blew a pitcher's duel between Steve Rogers and Vida Blue right out the window with a grand slam homer in the 7th for Vida to give him a 6-1 lead. Then the Expos got a home run in the bottom of the 8th by Dawson to make it 6-2, and Steve Ratzer took over for Rogers after he went out for a pinch hitter in the 7th. And Ratzer's working to Enos Cabell with 2 down here in the 9th. Cabell 2 for 4 today. A couple of singles. Bangs one to left. Raines can't get this one. Not even his speed could get him back quickly enough on that one. And he might have, tell you, he didn't really play that one that well either.
No,
but that's the inexperience of being in the outfield.
Yes, and Dawson is talking to him right now. Dawson's out there talking to him. Enos goes down for this ball. He's down in the strike zone. Gets good wood on it. Look at Range. You saw him. He should have never jumped in. It should have been back on the ball.
He cut across. He went right straight across.
Took the wrong angle. And Dawson, as soon as the play was over there, Andre's over talking to him, and that's exactly what he told him. Don't want to cross on that ball. That's the ball you have to go back on. As soon as you saw that ball off the bat, you should have been heading back and not towards me at center field, but back towards the fence.
Ball 1 to Jack Clark, who has a single and a double today. The Giants have come out hammering the ball. Last night, they won 4-3. This afternoon, they banged out 11 hits and have a 6-2 lead. Jack Clark whacks one to short. And Spire pulled it off the bag, and the run's going to score. On to second base goes Jack Clark. So an error on Chris Spire brings home the 7th run for San Francisco as Cabell scored. Clark winds up at second. No RBI.
And it never raised for what it pours. We saw Chris the other time let the ball go and a little high, and he did the same thing here. He might be releasing the ball. Look at that ball. That's way up there. He might be releasing it a little too quick. When you release it quick, the ball has a tendency to fly on you.
Now it's 7-2 San Francisco, and Darrell Evans hitless today, and 4 trips is up. Ball 1. He has hit safely in every game this month. 8 in a row, but not today.
The Giants went into Met Stadium beginning of the week with a 228 team average, which is very, very low, next to the bottom in the league standings. And the Mets turned it around for them, and the Mets have been doing that this year. They made them hitters, and they came in here, and they're hitting the ball the same way. So maybe the secret to get out of a slump is go in and play the Mets for a few days.
Well, that was true back in the early 60s, and it's true here in the early 80s.
Can't anybody play this game?
Famous line of Casey. Giants, what'd you say they were hitting, 221 in New York?
228.
They're hitting 236 going into this game, so now they'll be up about 240 as the batting averages, even team averages, change rapidly if you're hot or cold at this time of the year.
And I tell you, for a team to jump 5, 6, 7 points, that's a lot.
Cincinnati has knocked off Houston 9-5. Jack Clark out at second base, on by the air. Steve Ratzer trying to close it down to the top of the ninth. And another run's going to come home as Evans gets his first hit of the day, shoots one up the middle. Here is Clark scoring. On to second base goes Darrell Evans. And the Giants lead at 8-2. As Evans continues now, his hitting streak is hit safely in 9 straight games.
And when it goes wrong, it all goes wrong. Evans continued. It's a good thing for Evans to get that base hit. Keeps his streak going, but Dawson's got to hit the cutoff man now. You don't go all the way to the plate with this ball. Cromartie was slow getting over there for the cutoff, so you got a man at second base now. So you're making all kinds of mistakes, and they're talking to Ratzer out there now, and I wonder what the airfare is to Denver. That was Galen Cisco, the pitching coach, who was out there talking to him.
It's expensive. Jerry Martin is 1 for 4 today. He had a single in the 8th inning. Evans gets a single, goes to second on the throw to the plate. Struck one to the knees. 8-2 Giants. They have banged out 12 hits this afternoon. And if my card is correct, the only man in the batting order who does not have a base hit for San Francisco is Milt May. Fouled out of play. Joe Morgan.
Let's see what the
to be up next if Martin gets aboard.
I'm going to see what the computer said about Milt May and whether or not he was supposed to hit.
Okay.
He was not.
He was not supposed to bat?
No, he was not supposed to hit.
Oh, okay.
He only had 1 hit at 9 at-bats for the 111. Hitting 111 against Rogers. So it holds true. Maybe the computer is here to stay.
Chris Spire will try it again to retire the side. And the Giants get a pair on a couple of hits and an error. And can the computer umpire, though? Who knows? The Giants take an 8-2 lead into the bottom of the 9th inning. Jerry White will lead off for Montreal.
Even though the Pale Hose had the early lead, 2-0. But Al Woods sends Francisco Barrios' pitch deep.
To count 2 balls, no strikes, as Vida took about 4 warm-up pitches between innings and was ready. Yeah, 2 balls and a strike. That's Yuppie. Can he rally the Expos?
He's trying. Remember, we got to point out that, of course, Vida wants to get out there and wants to throw. There's a fly ball to center field, and North has to pick it up on a bounce. We got a single. We've got to point out that just earlier in the week, Wednesday night, they're playing the Mets with a 9-run lead going into the 9th inning. The San Francisco Giants let the Mets score 7 runs. If they do that here, it's going to be a losing cause, and they're going to lose 9-8. So anything can happen. And Vida Blue is anxious. Woo, he wants to throw.
Chris Spire is the batter with a runner at first. Outside a ball. Well, we got a vote on the MVP for the ball game.
Well, you know who I say. Go ahead.
This one's easy. Billy North, right?
It's
Billy North.
Easy. That's
6
easy.
RBIs, a double, a grand slam homer. Spire fouls it out of play. So this week's NBC Miller High Life Player of the Game, Billy North. Miller High Life is happy to present a check, $1,000 in the name of Billy North for the Special Olympics. Spire had a base hit in the 7th on the infield. In the hole, Lemaster to second, back to first. They get them both. So there are 2 down, and now Bobby Ramos, I believe, is going to be coming up. Bobby Ramos is coming on. Born in Cuba, grew up in Miami. NBC's Baseball Game of the Week has been brought to you by the Miller Brewing Company. Brewers of Miller High Life. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. By Ford and your Ford dealer, who invites you to test drive the EXP, America's new personal sports coupe. And by Skin Bracer Aftershave. Skin Bracer takes care of men who take care of their skin. Skin Bracer by Menon. Bouncing ball to first. This ought to do it. And Bobby Ramos is out of the ball. Game is over. And today's game has been brought to you by the U.S. Army. The Army, a great place to be all you can be. And Vida Blue pitches his first complete game of the year. And the Giants walk off the field with an 8-2 win, and they made it 2 in a row over the Expos.
After it right now.